My 8-year-old half-uncle is demanding I call him uncle at school. Okay, so my family is an absolute disaster. My dad had me when he was really young, and my grandpa had my dad when he was really young, so the ages are all messed up. I'm 15. My dad's 37. And my grandpa? He's only in his late 50s. When I was a kid, my grandparents got divorced. Pretty standard stuff. But then 2 years later, grandpa remarried this woman who was younger than my own dad. She had a son from a previous relationship. Let's call him Brian. And just like that, I supposedly had a step-uncle who was 4 years old. When we first met, I thought it was hilarious. Here I was, this kid with an uncle who could barely tie his own shoes, so I started calling him Uncle Brian as a joke. He loved it. He thought it was the coolest thing ever, and honestly, it was funny, so I kept doing it. Fast forward a couple years, family gathering, whispers, tension, and then the bomb drops. Brian wasn't my step-uncle. He was my half-uncle. Turns out grandpa had been living a double life. A whole second family he somehow managed to hide through the entire divorce. He'd been sleeping with this woman the whole time and tried to pass her off as someone he just happened to meet right after he and grandma split. The fallout was nuclear. Screaming matches, people taking sides. My dad was furious. My mom was disgusted. Everyone was betrayed. I didn't see grandpa or his new family for over a year. Radio silence. And honestly, I was fine with that. But recently, grandpa started trying to patch things up, apologizing, making amends, trying to rebuild bridges he'd burned to the ground. And part of that meant I had to see Brian again. Except Brian wasn't that sweet little 4-year-old anymore. He'd turned into an absolute nightmare. Needy, whiny, throwing tantrums over everything. His mom spoils him rotten, so I don't think there's any hope of him getting better. I just try to avoid him whenever possible. But here's where it gets worse. When grandpa was doing his whole redemption tour, he decided to move closer to us. And now Brian and I go to the same school. It's a K through 12, so thankfully I don't see him during the day. But after school, that's a different story. I have my club activities, and he's in the after-school childcare program. And sometimes we run into each other. Every single time he starts up with this Uncle Brian nonsense, demanding that I call him that. I keep telling him no. It was funny when he was little. It was a joke we both enjoyed. But now, it feels forced, demeaning, especially at school. The other day, it all came to a head. We ran into each other after school, and he immediately started in on me. You have to call me Uncle Brian. I'm your uncle. That means you have to do what I say. I snapped. I told him no. I told him I was tired of him being a whiny brat. I'm older than him. If anything, he should be listening to me. He did not take that well. He threw a full-blown tantrum, right there, in front of everyone. Screaming, crying, making a massive scene, kids staring, teachers noticing. It was humiliating. Word got back to our families. Of course it did. Brian's mom called my dad furious. She said if it meant that much to Brian, I should just call him uncle. Just do it. What's the harm? I refused. Then grandpa got involved, sided with her, said I should just go along with it to make things easier, to keep the peace. My dad hasn't said anything directly, but I can tell. He wants me to do it too. Just give in. Stop making waves. Let the 8-year-old have his way. But I won't. It's not about the name. It's about him thinking he can throw a fit and get whatever he wants. It's about being forced to do something humiliating at school because a little kid is having a power trip. When I called him Uncle Brian before, it was my choice. It was fun. This is different. This is him trying to control me, trying to lord some ridiculous technicality over me because his mom told him he's special. I'm standing my ground. I don't care how much he cries. I don't care how much his mom complains. I don't care if grandpa guilt trips me for the rest of the year. I'm not calling him Uncle Brian.